The ladies of The View are defending President Biden after his latest gaffe when he appeared to forget about the death of Indiana Congresswoman Jackie Walorski. Watch.
Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
I mean, they have weaponized the gaffes. They've said that he's senile.
And she passed last month, not like 100 years ago.
This country is so ageist. They need to stop weaponizing his age. I hate that about this country.
Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor and author of the new book, Come On Man, The Truth About Joe Biden's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Presidency. Joe, good morning to you. This story is kind of hard because you don't want the president's mistake to overshadow the fact that Congresswoman Walorski lost her life, but you have those comments from the people on The View, and then Karine Jean-Pierre is getting a lot of questions about this, and her response was that the late Congresswoman was on the top of President Biden's mind, and that's why he was looking for her.
So why would he be asking her by name if she was top of mind, as if she was there? In other words, if I have a Ouija board and I want to try to contact somebody who passed tragically, then I start, I guess, doing that in the privacy of my own home, but at a public event. Clearly, the president thought that she was still alive. And trust me, if his predecessor was asking about the whereabouts of a dead congresswoman who died tragically in a horrific car accident 1 month ago, you could be certain, as in Donald Trump, would be subject to serious analysis regarding his cognitive abilities and his mental health by that same show. Instead, most news organizations didn't even mention Joe Biden saying what he did, despite, as you mentioned, several reporters asking Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre about it that day, and she had a comical answer. And even the late night talk show host, right? Colbert, Kimmel, also couldn't be bothered to make one joke about it because they're not comedians, right? They're activists. And if any top Republican official had said what Kamala Harris, the vice president, said yesterday, that we have a strong alliance with North Korea, the punchlines would be by the hundreds. Instead, of course, as always, it's Silence of the Lambs. But Whoopi Goldberg, I mean, her response was, well, it's not like, she died last month. It's not like she died, 100 years ago. Exactly. She died last month. You would think the president would know that. And by the way, I will give him a pass on this. Somebody wrote all those names down for him that he was reading on a piece of paper. They set him up for this. He could have caught his mistake, but his staff is just as culpable here as the president is.
I don't know what's worse, the View response, the White House response. Dana Perino said it best. The White House just should have said he messed up, because people mess up. Right. It happens. But they didn't do that, and now we're talking about it today. Meantime, President Biden trying to use Italy's election of a right-wing leader, Giorgia Meloni, to rile up his voter base. Warning, quote, democracy is at stake. You just saw what happened in Italy in that election. You're seeing what's happening around the world. The reason I bother to say that is you can't be sanguine about what's happening here either. I said this earlier in the hour. I'm going to say it again. So we've gone from the future is female to electing a conservative woman is the end of democracy. Is that all the Democrats have, Joe?
Well, that's a good point, Todd. The whole democracy in peril argument is the ultimate deflection. Joe Biden and the Democratic Party can't run on their handling of inflation or economy or wages or gas prices because the majority of Americans give them poor grades on that. They can't run on their handling of crime, which is skyrocketing through American cities, as you guys talk about every morning. And they absolutely can't run on its handling of illegal immigration at the U.S. southern border or education and parents' rights. So the only option they believe is to make the midterms about boogeymen and women who, are either running in other countries or don't exist here. And no sane or sober person outside of those duped enough to believe that this is a midterm about extremism versus whatever they're offering are going to vote on that argument, which is why we see so much momentum on the Republican side right now with 38 days to go until Election Day. It's about the issues. It's about our wallets. It's about education. It's about being safe and nothing more. Guys.
Yeah, it's also the media on this one. They're calling Giorgia Meloni a far-right politician, and that centrist Democrats in Italy are worried about her being elected. So that language there is very typical. Joe, thank you for joining us.
It is. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.